So all of the ball boys that we watched dominate the high school scene about 4 years ago are now old enough to play in the NBA. And while two of them, Lonzo and LaMelo, had an easy time just breaking into the NBA scene, 1/3 of the Ball brothers hasn't had as much of an easy time getting selected by a team. So last night we got some information about that one particular ball boy, and today we got, well, a little bit of an aftermath. So what's going on, guys? Your boy Mike here. And before we get to the content, I just wanted to remind you guys we're giving away a PlayStation 5 to anyone that subscribes and turns on our notifications on this channel. Whether you're an old subscriber or you're just doing it today, if you subscribed and turn on my notifications, you have entered for a chance to win a PS5. On top of that, if you want any additional entries, just subscribe and turn on my notifications for my gaming channel or follow us on Twitter and Instagram. But in addition to that, I wanted to give a huge shout out to our latest member of Mike Mafia, Logan Mixon. Thank you so much for joining on a channel membership. And now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Guys, about 10 days ago, we got some pretty interesting news that I never thought we would get. LiAngelo Ball got signed to the Detroit Pistons on an Exhibit 10 deal. And from the very beginning, there were at least a group of people that thought, hey, this is LiAngelo's chance to finally break into the NBA. And then there was another group of people that thought, that's not what's happening here. You see, the Ball family has been a very notorious family over the past couple of years, and the peak of their popularity was when Lonzo was about to enter the NBA. That's when Lavar Ball just went crazy on his media marketing frenzy.
Lavar Ball hoping to get drafted by the Lakers himself. I don't want to get drafted by nobody. I was already drafted to Tina Ball. One team, one dream.
Tell Donald Trump to have a great Thanksgiving, because Big Baller is.
I hope you're thankful for him. Take care.
Well, you seem like I'm ducking, but I don't duck nobody.
You're talking around it. You're talking around it. You don't understand it.
He opened Big Baller brand. You know, LiAngelo got in trouble in China for trying to steal a pair of Louis V glasses, which doesn't make a lot of sense because this family was loaded from the get-go. But then you had a huge circus occurring. Lavar Ball thought that the Ball boys were so marketable that he could literally put them in Lithuania to play basketball and they'll be okay. And he even tried opening up his own basketball association as an alternative to high school, which was a very admirable business venture, but it's obviously going to take a couple of years for it to take off, and it really never did end up taking off. Then you have the Alan Foster controversy, and then you factor in the fact that this family literally has their own reality TV show that's similar to Keeping Up with the Kardashians on Facebook. Literally, if you're a fan of any of the Ball boys, you'd probably watch this show. It's a pretty dope show. But there was one issue. You see, things started crashing down. Lonzo was a great player. He's a great basketball player, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't necessarily the next Hall of Fame point guard that Magic Johnson said he was going to be. He ended up getting traded to the New Orleans Pelicans for the next Hall of Fame big man to play for the Los Angeles Lakers and Anthony Davis. Lavar Ball responded by saying this.
But like I said, I guarantee, like I say again, it'll be the worst move the Lakers ever did in their life, and they'll never win another championship. Guaranteed.
But prior to that, Lonzo was able to pull some strings to potentially get his little brother LiAngelo a tryout with the Lakers. He ended up not getting the job with the Lakers, which didn't really come to much of a surprise for anyone. And we didn't hear much about LiAngelo until the Detroit Pistons offered him an Exhibit 10 contract to join them in training camp. And when he was in training camp, we got like one little snippet of footage, you know, this footage right here. And you barely saw him. There was literally, I think, in about the entire video, there's like a 10-second clip that features LiAngelo in it. In this clip, I noticed a bunch of things. One, he seems extremely lethargic. Two, he doesn't really have the NBA-ready body that he should. Three, he's supposed to be shooting guard, you know, but he moves like he's, I don't know, a center that's coming off of an Achilles tear and a bad ACL injury. Pretty much he wasn't in basketball playing shape and he was signed anyway. So what does this tell you? This was just one gigantic marketing ploy and it worked. If you look at those practice clips, the people that were coming in to watch LiAngelo Ball play also got to see Killian Hayes play, Blake Griffin, and Derrick Rose, and the rest of the Detroit Pistons play. The Detroit Pistons never got more attention over the past 5 years than the moment they signed LiAngelo Ball during this time where LaMelo Ball also got drafted. So he was a huge trending name. Now, there is the mention that LiAngelo Ball had a calf injury during preseason, but you even heard in an interview that DKM gave with a Pistons insider.
The biggest note is that it's a non-guaranteed contract. So if he makes the team somehow, then it's going to be a big surprise for a lot of people, but it would mean that he had a really good camp. The Exhibit 10 just means that he's pretty much guaranteed a spot on their G League roster, and he'll get a roster bonus if he makes that G League team. I think it's something like $50,000 or somewhere in that neighborhood. So the plan is that he would be on the G League team, which is the Grand Rapids Drive, and then he'd be an affiliate player that they might be able to move up if they ever needed to for whatever reason. So it's not that he's signing with the Pistons and he's got a guaranteed deal and you can plan on seeing him in a Pistons uniform. What's more likely is he'll be in a Grand Rapids Drive uniform for this season. Some Herculean effort of him scoring 30 points in every preseason game or something like that. Or maybe some injuries, or maybe there's a God forbid, a rash of COVID that goes around, that they just need the extra bodies and he finds a way to get there. I mean, the talent is there, but this is just the road to him making the NBA. He was on a 2-way deal last year in Oklahoma City. So, I mean, there's a roadway to him doing that, and getting to the NBA is probably not just this year. He's got to do a little bit more work and prove that he can play at an NBA level.
Literally, the insider said the only way LiAngelo Ball will be able to play with the Detroit Pistons at all is if he happened to score like 30 points per game in training camp and truly blow the Detroit Pistons' minds. Nevertheless, after the Detroit Pistons cut him, Lavar Ball actually was asked about his reaction and what he thought about LiAngelo Ball being cut by the Detroit Pistons. In a Bleacher Report AMA on Monday afternoon, he was asked his thoughts about the move, about the roster transaction, and he said, "I definitely have thoughts on that. The people in Detroit are great. I love the fans, but the franchise over there is raggedy as hell. They don't know a good player. I was giving them a lottery pick for free. Has the skills to play and the notoriety to bring everybody to the game. How do you throw that out of the window? They're gonna learn the hard way. My boys are gonna end up playing somewhere. Jello can shoot the lights out. That was raggedy what they did, but hey, they're gonna learn the hard way." You see, there is a point that Lavar Ball makes here that is very true, and I believe it's the point that got LiAngelo Ball signed to begin with. If a team does have LiAngelo Ball on the roster, there will probably be more attention on that roster to see what the result of LiAngelo Ball's career would be. I don't know how sustainable that type of attention is. I don't think it's going to drag on for as long as Lavar Ball says it is. At the end of the day, whether LiAngelo Ball deserves to make it to the NBA or not, as boisterous as Lavar Ball is, I do commend him for just being a father that wants the best for his kids and a father that just wants his kids to succeed. But at the same time, I can't help but ponder whether or not this is truly the path LiAngelo wants to take. Does he truly want to be in the NBA? Or does he have other interests? Is the fact that he's not on an NBA roster truly eating away at him inside? Does he cry himself to sleep at the fact that he is not on an NBA roster? And does that pain cause him to wake up at 4 a.m. to try to get shooting drills in and work on his game as much as he can so he could work towards that goal? Or is Lavar Ball being the equivalent to a parent that wants his son to be a doctor, even though that kid doesn't want to be a doctor and wants to do something else instead? That's just something that just occurred to my mind when I heard about this information, and I couldn't help but wonder which one of the scenarios it is. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about LiAngelo's situation? What do you think the ceiling of his NBA career is going to be? Do you think he'll ever make it to a full NBA roster? And if so, what is it going to take for him to get there? Aside from that, I'm your boy, Theflightmike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.